July of 2022, I was preparing to ship out to the United States Marine Corps boot camp. My ship date was July 27th. And I didn't know at the time that being a backup to someone was not a guaranteed spot. And I was supposed to be shipping out in like October, but they told me, hey, we got a spot for you July 27th, so you're going to be shipping out a lot sooner. I was super excited about that because I was really excited about just moving on to the next chapter of my life. I was in a position where I'd just been going through a lot with myself. I'd been going through a lot with my family, and just mentally I'd been struggling a lot. Spiritually I'd been struggling a lot, and I was just excited to close this chapter of my life and have time going through, boot camp to just reconnect with, myself and my leadership qualities, and just reconnect with being very physical and being very active and just learning something new and just being immersed in a new culture and just being transformed into a United States Marine and just being able to earn that title. I was very excited about that, and I was preparing a ton for it. And so coming up to July 27th, it's obviously the end of the month, so my lease ended, and it was literally the perfect time. I ended up resigning from my job. I was working at like a car wash, selling car wash memberships, and so I resigned from that, and I put all my stuff in a storage unit, and I was like ready to go. I was like, let's go and do this thing. Well, long story short, I get to the station where you ship out. It's called MEPS. I get to MEPS. The guy that I'm backing up, he ends up qualifying to go. And so I'm literally sitting in this like office space all day long, waiting for them to come and get me so that way I can ship out. And then right around 3 p.m., they come and they're like, hey, you're not going to be shipping out. The other guy already shipped out. And I was thinking, all right, I don't really know what I'm going to do because my lease just ended. All my stuff is in a storage unit. I've got no job, and I've got no family to turn to. Like, it's just me out here. And I remember getting in my car, and I drove back to my storage unit. And I was in this weird place because a part of me really wanted to be pissed off about my circumstance and be really upset that I didn't ship out on the time that I wanted to go. But there was this peace that just surpassed my understanding that just surrounded me in my car. And I was getting this vision as I was sitting there of me holding this like Xbox controller. And as I was holding it, I just felt like God took it out of my hands, and he just gently, but also just, it's like that fatherly figure. He just spoke to me. He's like, Steven, you're no longer calling the shots in your life. And the season, this chapter that you're trying to get out of and you're trying to close and you're trying to move on to, new, big, and better things to become a better person. He's like, the work that I've been doing in you is still not complete. And there's still some loose ends that I want to tie up before you go in to this next season, because you will not be able to experience the blessings in my best for your life if you would have left today. And even though I didn't understand all that meant in that moment, I decided to trust God. And where I was at in my life, just emotionally and spiritually, I was really struggling with trusting God in deep ways like I had in the past. I just been going through a lot over the past couple years and just working through a lot with my family and myself and just life experiences and just figuring this whole thing out. And so I grabbed my stuff from the storage unit and I'm trying to think, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I end up calling my former manager at the car wash, and I'm like, hey man, I'm going to need my job back because I don't know when I'm shipping out, but I didn't ship out today and things just changed. And so he's like, no worries, dude, we got you. You can come back. You can start slinging memberships again. And so I was thinking, well, where am I going to sleep? I guess the only option that I really have, because I literally had no money, maybe like a couple $100, but nothing crazy. I was like, dude, I'm just going to tough it out and just sleep in my car. And I've got like a gym membership. I'm just going to go shower at the gym, call it good, go to work, and we'll just figure this out, and we'll just like grit it out till I go. And so I remember I got done with work, and I am trying to kind of like find a spot that I can go to sleep for the night. So I like find this parking lot at this hotel in Scottsdale. I'm like, this seems like a pretty safe spot. Little do I mean, I knew this, but I didn't really think through this. It's literally the middle of the summer in Arizona, and I'm going to sleep in my car. Like, dude, that's a straight like death note right there, because you're going to absolutely roast in your car. It's like a heat wave outside. You're going to be locked up in an oven for like 8 hours. And so I'm like, dude, I've got this. Like, I'm just going to tough it out. No worries. Start to try to fall asleep. Obviously, I don't go to sleep because it's super hot. And as I'm in this place, I'm just thinking, you know what? I have a key to this business that I used to clean for and formerly work for, that I never gave back. And I was like, dude, I'm going to go over to the business and I'm going to go sleep on, I know they have like some couches there. I'm just going to go sleep on like the couch. I know the people there, like if I happen to get caught, they probably wouldn't care too much. Maybe they would, but like I'm homeless right now. I've got really nowhere to turn. But in this place, I was also struggling with a lot of ego and a lot of pride, because I was very embarrassed with where I was at and just me struggling. It was hard for me to just open up with people and just ask for help. And so I was like, I'm going to go to this business. I'm just going to sleep there, wake up in the morning. No one's going to see me. Going to go shower at the gym and then just go to work, and we'll just figure this out. And so I remember getting there at the business that night, and I get inside and I am laying down on this couch, and I'm like looking up at the tiles, and I just remember I was just crying. I just started crying. And in that moment, I was thinking about like the success story of people's life, and how, you see, NBA stars and Hollywood, actors, and their stories of, maybe they were homeless, or they were working at, like a bar, or they were working at a restaurant or something like that. And they just slowly like worked their way up, and it's this amazing success story. I just remember sitting there like crying, looking at these tiles, and I was just thinking, dude, this is not cool. Like, I don't even care about the success story. I don't even care if anything happens with my life. This just absolutely sucks right now. Like, I've got no family. I've got really no one to turn to. I'm too embarrassed to even reach out to anyone. Like, I'm just all alone. And I just believe in that moment, God was just with me way more than I even understood, in a way that's just so much bigger than myself. And even though I felt very hopeless and I felt lost and I felt alone, at the same time, I felt like God was just right there with me, and I was experiencing him in a way that I haven't experienced him ever before. The next morning, I get up and I'm just thinking through, am I just going to keep doing this? Like, is this just going to be a regular thing? And so I'm like, I'm just going to do it one more day, and we'll just see how this goes, because this absolutely sucks. Like, eventually I'm going to have to reach out to someone and let them know, but I'm just not there yet. And so I remember going through one more day of, going over to the business, sleeping on the couch, waking up in the morning, going to the gym, then going to work. And then that next day at work, I end up, calling my recruiter, and I remember telling him, hey, dude, do you got like a time frame on when I'm going to go? Like, what is this? How does this work? What does this look like? Because I'm currently homeless right now. I don't know if you know that. Obviously you don't, because I didn't tell you, but I'm straight up homeless, and I've got nowhere to go because I don't got family out here. I've got nothing. And he was like, dude, you should have told me that way sooner. I'm going to like see the people that I'm connected with, see if we've got any opportunities for you to just go and like stay at someone's house until you leave. And so in the same phone call, I was telling him, like, dude, I don't really know how all this stuff works, but like, I don't got time. And so if there's a way that we're able to like tell the higher up like military chain of command that I'm in this like crazy position, and if they can work some magic to like get me out a lot sooner rather than later, that would be absolutely great. And so he's like, yeah, man, I'm going to see what I can do. calls me back a few hours later as I'm getting off of work, and he's like, hey bro, I just want to let you know, I've got a connection for you, and they're going to open up their house for you to come stay with them until you leave. Like, you don't have to worry about food. You don't have to worry about rent. You don't have to worry about anything. Like, they're just going to take care of you until you leave. You're more than welcome to stay there if that works for you. And then he's like, I also reached out to some, connects that I have with like the higher ups, and we're going to put you on like an emergency leave list. And so pretty much anyone that's going to boot camp in the Marine Corps across the entire nation, if they don't qualify to go on their ship date, then you're going to be on this list that they're going to be able to pull from over everyone else, and then you're going to be able to take their spot. And so I was like, dude, let's freaking go. And so I ended up going into the house that night, beautiful home that I got to stay in. I remember going to sleep, and then when I woke up the next morning, I was driving, and as I was driving, they lived, pretty far out of the city, and I was kind of driving through the mountains, and I just remember seeing this like very open area of just like the desert and the mountains, and it was just giving me this like very big, vast picture of just the world. And I just remember like smiling and just thinking, dude, every single like recruiting station, they know my name because I'm on this list. And if anyone doesn't qualify, like Stephen Herman's going to take their spot. And the reason why I was smiling is because I was trusting God through this process, through this trial, and God was coming through in really, really cool ways. And it just gave me this picture, like when you trust God, he goes above and beyond whatever you could ask, think, or imagine. Like yesterday you were homeless and you were struggling and no one really knew who you were and the way that you needed help. The next day you're no longer homeless, and now every station, Marine Corps station in the nation knows who you are, and they're here to like help you and take care of you. I just thought that was so cool in the way that God was working this thing out. And so in this time of my life, as God was just speaking with me and transforming me and just renewing relationships in my life and rebuilding bridges that I had broken with some people, it was really difficult and hard, but God also graced me for it. And it was the time of my life out of a lot of other struggles that I've had where as I was going through it, I was really learning how to have a genuine smile on my face and to genuinely be passionate about the life that I have and be grateful for the day-to-day and just being provided for by God. Finding gratefulness and thankfulness and gratitude in having a spot to live and having a job and being able to, have enough money to at least, buy some food. Like, being grateful for just the little things in life despite the other reality that I'm in. And it was really giving me a cool opportunity to trust God and to worship God and believe God that he has so much better for my life. In God's word, it says when we trust him and when we give our hearts to him and when we're in relationship with him and we're seeking him above all else, the things that he does in our life are greater than we could ask, think, or imagine. He goes above and beyond, because when we no longer live in this logical state of mind and we enter this place of trusting God in faith, the sky is literally the limit of what God can do in you and through you, not to only transform you into more of who Jesus is and the character of who he is, but he also does really cool things through your life to also impact this world and the people around us in ways that we could not think of when we're in the logical state of mind. This season of my life, I believe, was this picture of when a photo is taken. Back in the day, it was taken and then it has to go to this place called the dark room to be developed. And in my life, I feel like I was in this place where I wanted to be like a new camera, like take the picture, we get the result right away, let's go, let's move on, next chapter, new thing, I'm all about it. And God was like, let's slow your horses down because there's still more developing that I want to do, so that way you can capture the full picture of what I'm trying to accomplish through everything that I'm allowing you to go through. So let's take a snap this picture of your life, and let's go to the dark room and let's allow there to be a time of more development before you go into this next season, because I want to bless you above and beyond whatever you could ask, think, or imagine in this next season. But if you don't allow me to do the work to set you up right now, you won't be able to receive the things that I have in that next season. And it was cool just to see what God was doing. God was renewing relationships in my life. God was transforming my mind and my heart. He was giving me character to have a good attitude through the thick and the thin, to be a blessing to other people, to put a smile on other people's faces, to make other people's day, even though I might be going through quote unquote hell. I'm here today. I'm here today because God said that He had better for my life. And I actually believed Him. Right now, the place that I'm sitting in recording this video, this couch is the exact same couch that I was sleeping on a year and a half ago. Hopeless, lonely, feeling like I had nowhere to go, no one to reach out to, straight up struggling. But in that season, God said, Stephen, I have better for you. Will you believe me? Will you trust me? Fast forward to my life now. I became a United States Marine. I've had many opportunities to lead Marines. I have started a business, and it is going extremely well. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm surrounded with some of the best people in the world. I've got a beautiful home. I've got a brand new truck. I'm connected with people, not only within my inner circle, but just in general. Like, I'm just connected with amazing people. A complete 360. The life that I'm living now and the things that God is doing in my life now are literally above and beyond whatever I could have asked, thought, or imagined my life could have been. And it's only a year and a half. So I want to say this. If you're in a place where you feel hopeless, you're discouraged, I just want to let you know, do not give up. God is not done writing your story. He's got so much more for you. And He's in a place asking you, will you believe me for more?